Radio. February 18th, 2025. You're on my 13-mile commute to work. Welcome to the show. Yes, yesterday was a holiday. Let me straighten that up a little bit. Yesterday was a holiday, so let's see if I can get some, much better. So obviously no show yesterday, but we are back in the saddle, headed to work. So it's time to get you up on my ridiculously fun weekend. You'll wish that you had this weekend. So let's get started with, so remember I talked last episode that we've got a really busy February. So this last weekend, we were at this, I guess you would call it a club called The Deuce. And The Deuce is downtown Phoenix. Seems in a little sketchy part of town, actually. If you look it up, hey, Michael Caine here is great British actor. Pixel Rage is here. Yes. Early morning risers for the show. Of course, I think Michael Caine's in the UK, so it's probably like, I don't know, 7 p.m. over on his time. I don't know. Anywho, so we went to this place called The Deuce, and they were having a special event. They called it Burn in Love because it's, Valentine's Day and all. And we didn't really know what to expect. We'd never been to The Deuce because it's like a regular nightclub bar type scenario. So we didn't know what to expect. Oh, you're in South Carolina? Who am I thinking that's in the UK? Well, you're 3 hours ahead or whatever, so you're good. Let me change lanes. Yeah. So we didn't really know what to expect or what we were, what it was going to look like or anything. All we knew is that there was some sort of a burlesque show, and we love that sort of thing. So, and the seats were like, they were kind of pricey. They were a little bit more than I probably would have paid. They were $75 a head, and that's quite a bit. There was no free booze, nothing like that. It was just a show and admission. I guess that's not true. There was some champagne being given out, but does that really count? So anyway, we decided to stay at a hotel that was literally a 6-minute walk away, the Home2 Hilton. Again, downtown in a sketchy part of town. But in our defense, we were able to, just a second. What they're doing up here? I don't know. Anyway, the Home2 is, like I said, right close, easy to walk to. Typically speaking, when we go out and party at night, one of us has to stay, sober enough to drink, right? And that kind of sucks. One of us gets to get all fucky, and the other one has to stay sober, and that blows for some of us. It blows. I'm trying to get this so the phone's not rattling the whole time. This new ride's not quite as smooth as my ride. So, anyway, and so this hotel is also in a sketchy area of town, but there is right across the street from this hotel, and this is why it costs so much. I was trying to figure out what was the deal with the pricing on this thing. There's a train. Son of a bitch. No wonder everybody's wigging it. Let's see if I can avoid this train. So it turns out it's right across the street from the Footprint Pavilion, Footprint Center, whatever it is where they have all the concerts downtown. So that's why the hotel was kind of ridiculously expensive for what it was. And it was sort of like it was kind of like a hippie hotel, big open seating, blah, blah, blah. At least there was free breakfast, and it was pretty good. But anyway, so the game plan was get to the hotel, check in, and walk to the venue and walk back, right? So we could walk, get all fucked up, and then come back. It sounded like a perfect plan. And it kind of was. So we walked down to the Deuce, worried about getting mugged, because that is not the greatest area of Phoenix. It's South Phoenix, south of the train tracks, right? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we get down there. And so we get there a little bit early, and I'm glad we did, because even though we were VIP, it was still, first come, first served seating. So we got there early, and we were one of the first couple of couples in, and we got like right against the stage, which is perfect because, we're here for a show, right? So you want to be as close to the stage as possible. So to give you sort of a setup here, and I've got pictures and videos and stuff I'll share with you guys. So you had the stage in the front, drummer was off to the left, right? The drum kit's on the left. And at the center of the stage, going back into the venue, is like this giant table. It's like a huge table. Imagine, you ever see any of those shows like in medieval times, and they've got this huge giant table that runs the entire length of the freaking hall? That's kind of what it's like. It's just this big, long, giant table. We got seated at the table. My wife was right against the stage. I was right next to her. And again, we have no idea what this actually is going to be. So, you know, let the drinks start flowing, right? So we got seated, and first off, we got there at like 7:45. And so it's like, well, the doors don't open till 8, but you can go up to the rooftop, and you know, you can get some drinks up there, blah blah blah. We had one of their house drinks. It was okay, not great. But, you know, this rooftop is this little tiny thing, so I have no clue what exactly it is that we're that we're getting ourselves into here. What's the venue like if this is the rooftop? Anyway, so we finally got seated, and so we have no clue what we're supposed to do. So I went and found the bartender. There's a couple of different bars in there. There's a place to order food. I guess the new thing, I guess it's not very new, but the thing now is there's no menus anywhere. Anything you want to see, you scan a QR code. And don't get me wrong, I love the concept that QR codes are finally getting the love that they deserve. But, Jesus, son, welcome to Phoenix, boys. But, you know, it's still kind of sucky when you don't even know what they're serving there. It doesn't say food or booze or whatever. It's just a register with a sign in front of it. So you have no clue what you're even looking at. So we had eaten before, right? So we had dinner before we went, just because we didn't know what was going to be available or anything like that. So we started drinking. And the drinks were pretty good. They're all hoity-toity drinks. You're not getting, you know, scotch on the rocks or anything. You're getting, you know, frou-frou drinks, or as my friends call them, pussy drinks. And there was we had quite a few pussy drinks, but the music was incredible. Now listen, this is a bar downtown, right? This is sort of a hip sort of spot to be in. And they're playing like right off of our playlist. My wife looks at me and she goes, "What's with all this good music?" This is not live music. This is just, you know, ambiance music. And it's like every song that came out was one off of one of our playlists, right? I mean, there was Bon Jovi, there was Journey, you know, Salt and Peppa had Push It on there. They even had like MMMBop from Hanson. I totally forgot that song even existed. But it was like, holy shit, this is awesome. I mean, if this is what they play all the time, then they had some Queen on. I don't remember which song it was. But I remember because I was standing at the, waiting to get more drinks. Grasshoppers this time, and the bartender's singing along with the music, and he's a younger dude, and I'm like, man, the music here is so good. Is it always this good? I mean, is it always like this? He's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, holy shit, we might have to come down here all the time, because they were playing all the good stuff, man. We had at least 2 Journeys. We had it was just great. It was just amazing. Anyway, so let's get to the show, because that's the interesting part. So again, this is supposed to be a burlesque show. That's all we know. They don't really have any details. They don't tell you who's performing, what they're going to be doing. You don't know. But we had we did have during the hour, they started at like 9:30. So we had an hour and a half of getting punch drunk love, right? So we were nice and mellow by then. 3 or 4 drinks in, pretty good stuff. And so we've been seeing people running around that look like performers, right? There's this long-haired dude that kept working on a guitar, working with a guitar and some equipment up front. You saw some pretty hot chicks coming in that looked like they were dressed up for something. So it's like, okay, this is cool. They got a drum set up, but you didn't know if that was just like always there or if somebody was actually going to play it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, blah, blah, blah. We'll start in 5 minutes. Please make sure that if you're sitting at the middle table, make sure all drinks and food, everything are pulled close to you because the performers use this table, right? They use the table as part of the stage. And I'm like, yeah, all right, this could be cool. So the guy comes in, the guitar guy comes in, and, he gets started. You see the drummer setting up. He's getting comfortable. And then the lights come down, and like I said, it's like they're pulling off the playlist. They open up with Journey, right? So it starts playing Separate Ways, right? Here we stand. And the guitar player's wailing. So what they've got is they've got a partial backing track. The guy on the guitar is actually playing the guitar over top of the track, right? Because they got Steve Perry singing. The drummer's not quite drumming yet, but he kicks in somewhere in the middle. So they're playing over the track for this intro. But it's really cool. They're kind of jamming, right? So the guitar dude is like adding to the song. Then out of nowhere walks a guy with a saxophone. And I'm telling you, man, I do not understand why the saxophone has been sort of eliminated from music, at least the music that I typically hear. We need more saxophone in music because it kicks ass. And so the saxophone guy, he is also jamming along with the song. And it's really, it's super loud. The sound quality is excellent. For this fairly small place, the sound quality was insane. Very, very good. Why is everybody pulling over here? Is there a lane down? Slow down ahead. That's all it says? I need to get myself over in the other lane. These people are killing me. I have to be to work by 9. I got a meeting, man. Oh, there's a stalled car. That's what's going on. All right. Well, thou art forgiven. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. I'm looking at my wife going, this is fucking amazing, And so they're playing it. They do this. They do an opener with this, and then eventually the track sort of disappears and they're just playing the song, which is really cool. So it's like guitar, sax, and drums. So everything pretty much the rest of the night was guitar, sax, and drums. Occasionally they put some sort of a backing sound for them to play along with, but for the most part it was like a 3-piece band. It was really good. Anyway, and so then we have a singer come out. It's pretty hot. And I can't remember all the songs, but there was a ton of music that they were playing. So she comes out and she's looking kind of sexy and she's walking up and down the table. And it's cool. It's like, okay, this is really great. The music's fantastic. The ambiance is great. I'm lit off my ass. This is fantastic. So she goes back, and then we have a series of performances. Again, set to great music. We had, so the first one that came out, I'm trying to remember the order of operations because some of them kind of run together. But the first one comes out and basically does sort of an old style vaudeville striptease with like a chaise lounge and the whole bit, all dressed like that really elegant sort of, I don't know, like 50s, 60s type thing. It was really cool. And she comes out and she's stripping. They get down to pasties, right? They don't show any nipple or anything. It's a burlesque show. It's not a strip club, right? So she comes out, she does the whole bit. Got that real pale complexion, the bright red hair, or not bright as in colored, but bright red as in she's a redhead. And so, she's got the snake, whatever they call that thing, boa, the boa thing. Anyway, it was really cool, and we're just enjoying it. And of course, every act comes onto these tables. It's awesome. They walk the tables, they flop down in front of you, they do the little show, they give you the wink and the nudge. It was fun. It was really a good time. Then we had another one. There were several versions of the strip. One chick came out like dressed kind of dude-ish, and it was playing Dirty Diana from Michael Jackson. And she gets all, she strips down, she walks the stage. Singers come back, they perform a number. And then you get this girl comes out, and listen, she either is or was a stripper. She's got the look, she's got the body, she's got the tattoos. Stripper, right? So she comes out, and there's a hoop hanging next to the table. So they got these guys coming and clearing out all the area around where this hoop is. She comes out and she does like a complete hoop set, again, to great music. And she's flailing around, and I swear, I don't know how she didn't kick somebody or hit somebody, but it was great. Then comes sort of the main liner. This is the fire chick, right? And you can't, I mean, can you have a burlesque show, I think, without a fire chick? Anyway, she's practically naked. She comes out. She's got, and she uses a variety of burning instruments, right? She's got the double-sided burning batons. She's got these sort of katana-looking things that are all burning. She's rubbing it on her body, her arms being set on fire. It was just unbelievable. It was fantastic. It was great. She does the sword, the fire swallowing. And again, this is all to like music you would want to listen to, which is unbelievable. And sometimes they would combine the acts. So the burlesque chicks would come out and be stripping around a little bit whilst the flame chick was doing her thing. Meanwhile, you have the singer sitting up there, mauling all over the drummer, trying to mess him up. It was an amazing time. All I can say is it was worth the $75. We weren't sure that was going to be the way it turned out, but it was truly amazing. And they ended also with Journey, which is just too damn cool. I love me some Journey. And then they go back to, and then once the show was over, oh, wait, I forgot, there's two more pieces of the show I forgot about. So they go and they get somebody from the audience. Of course, it's a good-looking, ripped dude, which is why I know for a fact, a good-looking, ripped, young dude, which is why I know for a fact he was a plant. But they did a good job of making him not look like a plant. So they get the guy, they bring him up on stage. They bring him up to the table part of the stage, and then they walk down, they put a chair in there, and they make him sit on the chair. The redhead strip burlesque dancer comes out and is fawning all over him, blah, 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 rubbing the boa across his neck, and he's pretending to be, stunned or amazed, you can tell. But anyway, so she makes him take off his shirt. That's exactly why it wasn't me up there. It was some young, studly looking guy. So she takes off his shirt and then blindfolds him and beats him across the chest with a cat of nine tails. That's another way that this guy was a plant and not a real dude, because no matter how good you are at reading people, you just never know who's going to let you beat them across the chest with a cat of nine tails. And yeah, he was it wasn't fake. He was all red and practically blistered. So, but yeah, so she beats the shit out of him. And then, does some more sexy dancing on him, blah, blah, blah. And then they let him get up and leave. I don't know. It was like, okay. Even with it being a plant, it was still fun. And then one of the final acts, which I thought was pretty funny, the main burlesque dancer comes out, and these black lights come on. It's hard to tell, but you can tell. These black lights come on. She comes out wearing as little as humanly possible. She comes out, and I saw the guy. That's one of the benefits of sitting right at the stage. There's a guy that comes up and she brings this tray of paint. So the chick comes in and she's dancing around. She does, I think, a little bit more fire stuff. And then she reaches down and grabs the paint and she's painting herself, right? Now, that sounds kind of lame, but I assure you it was extraordinarily sexy the way she was doing it. So finally she's mixing colors. She's using her body as, what do they call those things? The paint, the palette, is that what they call that? Anyway, so she's using herself, mixing all the colors. Then one of the staff throws her this canvas. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 2 by 3 feet, good sized canvas. She takes the canvas and she shoves it against her ass and paints her whole ass and legs on the back of this canvas. Then she walks out and she gives it to some random guy in the crowd. It wasn't me, unfortunately, or I have pictures of it. I think I've got some video of it, though, I can share with you. But yeah, it was really great. And I asked my wife later, I said, hey, what would we have done with that if if she'd turned around and given it to us, and she's like, hell, I had to frame that shit and put it in the living room. Wouldn't that be great? Imagine her mom comes over and there's this burlesque dancer's ass slapped onto some canvas and it's hanging in our living room. I could see it, but anyway, so the show was a good hour. I mean, it was a good long show. And once the show was over, a ton of people left. And then everybody sort of scattered. Everybody started going outside because there's lots of things outside, up to the rooftop. It was just chill after that. And yeah, I mean, it was a great time. I mean, I can't even begin. We didn't know. This was a lot better than the pirate show, I'll tell you that. The pirate show was a complete clusterfuck, but this was very, very well done. We would totally go back to the Deuce, and even if it was just a drink and listen to music, yeah, it was fantastic. So this weekend, though, so yes, I'll have another story next Monday. This weekend, though, we're going to someplace called the Canby. It's a 5-star hotel in either Tempe or whatever, and it's hoity-toity side of town. And they have this thing called Rare Magic, or Real. Is it Rare or Real? Anyway, it's one of those. So we're going to have this big magic show to go to, so I'm very excited about that. That'll be our next big adventure, and then we're taking it easy for a few weeks. We're not as young as we'd like to think we are, so it can be rough. So the next, the other part of the funness going on this weekend was my wife went to get her hair done, which is a big deal. It gets colored and her side of her head gets shaved. You've seen pictures, but that's a big ordeal. So she went down to get it done, and it turns out, because her mom goes to the same stylist that she goes to, so they were actually double booked together. So they had time to sit and chat, and they decided they were going to go have lunch. That's fine. So they go have lunch. It turns out they ended up at the Tilted Kilt. Told you, my wife's bi, man. She loves looking at those hot chicks. So now my mother-in-law, there's no biism in her lineage, I don't think. So yeah, I don't know if she had nearly as much fun as my wife did, but listen, Tilted Kilt, chicks are hot. So they went to lunch, and they ended up at PetSmart, which is obviously a pet store. But like once a month on Saturdays, all the PetSmarts have this sort of adoption thing, right? So they go to the local shelters, they get animals, they take them down, they put them front and center in front of people, and they adopt them out. That's how I've ended up with at least half my animals, was from these adoptions at PetSmart. So my wife sends me a picture of a dog, a little tiny black puppy, and I write back to her and say no. That's all it was. I should post the chat. She writes and she just puts this picture of this puppy, and I'm like, no more animals. And she's like, please, and so you see, please. So it's like I can tell that this isn't just fucking around with me. She really wants the dog, right? And I'm like, okay, how much? $500. This is no AKC registered dog. This is basically a pound dog. And I'm like, oh my God, $500? Are you kidding me? And she's like, please. Ugh. And I'm like, okay, do it, fine. So she brings home this puppy, and it's a Chihuahua mix. That's all we really know. We've got a picture of the mom, but we don't know the dad. So I don't know. It's a mutt. It's a $500 mutt. Now, before you go, Shane, you've lost your fucking mind. I do want to point out, though, that the dog was like ready to roll, microchipped, spayed, everything. I mean, all the shots. She has one booster that she has to get left, and that's it. So all of the things you're thinking, okay, $500 is a little high for a pound dog. But I mean, okay. So first of all, it's for an agency, right? So the idea is that you're also funding this. You're also funding the animal shelter that these animals came from, right? So I'm sure there's a donation involved with that. But the microchipping alone is what, $150, $200. So, you gotta like look at the total cost of ownership for animals, right? And so now we've got basically an infant in the house again. And I tell you, speaking of being too old for this shit, good Lord. Puppies, bark, 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 bark. Meh, meh, meh. I need to be held. I need this. I need that. Pull me into bed with you. Let me sleep with you. Blah, blah. Lord. And, you know, and the other animals like have no clue what to do with her, you know. The dog is literally this big. I mean, I mean, you can almost literally fit it in your pocket. It's almost literally a pocket dog. But we have these big cats and these, I mean, they're little dogs, but they're 10 times bigger than she is. And they're all scared of her, and they don't know what to make of it. Anyway, the whole house is in turmoil. So that's the other part of the weekend that definitely made life interesting is we have a new dog, a little tiny fluffball puppy. It's very cute. I mean, listen, she's adorable. And we've decided to name her Pixel. Yeah. Not like the phone, like the dot on a screen Pixel. So my wife wanted something geeky but cute, and so we ended up with Pixel. You know, it's a pure black dog. I once again, just like I did with our little dark colored Chihuahua, I tried to sell her on the N-word. Could you imagine calling the dogs in? I mean, how much fun would that be? But she, of course, again, she didn't go for it. So, you know, I'm not going to get an N-word dog, apparently. So we were thinking, we named our other two dogs, Beta and Max. So I'm thinking, name her VHS or Laserdisc, right? Of course, the wife didn't go for any of those. Go figure, right? So yeah, so we were just kind of floating it around in the car, and Pixel it is. So yeah, so yesterday in Arizona, apparently nowhere else, was a 50% off all Goodwills, everything in the store. Well, nothing new and not food, right? As typical for Goodwill sales, but it was essentially 50% off of everything. So it's like we had to go out. I mean, essentially 50-cent CDs. If I ran across a nice CD player or something like that, you know, some sort of nice hardware, I could pick that up. So, what's going on up here? I don't know, but I don't like it. Am I going to go in that other lane? I don't know. Nah, let's just stick it out. I don't know what's going on up here, but it looks like it's going to be something to delay me getting to work. Anyway, so we ended up hitting 3 Goodwills. The CDs were like totally cleared out. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping they're not phasing them out, because that's half the fun of going to Goodwill is checking for CDs. Okay, no, they don't want me to turn here. Good. Oh, it's just it looks like an ambulance or something. Yep, ambulance. So the CDs were really sparse. The movies were really sparse. I ended up picking up 1 Blu-ray and 1 CD across 3 different Goodwills. But I almost had a treasure. Almost had a treasure. So get this. I'm always on the lookout for like a CD player proper, something that could go in the media center, hook to the receiver, right, and be a permanent CD player. I've got the big monster Panasonic. I got boom boxes. I got personal players. I got all that stuff. Send it to the outlet center, yeah. Let's see. Poop for a minute. I'm just scrolling back. Pub table. Drive safe. Appreciate your work. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So I was going through the electronics, right? So this is how it works. And my son came with us too, which was kind of cool. So it's movies, CDs, electronics, and leave, right? That's sort of the Goodwill circuit for us. Well, for my son and I, my wife goes and looks at other stuff, knickknacks and frames and all that stuff. What's this? Train coming? God, I hope that doesn't impede me. I need to be on a meeting in 10 minutes, and this is not looking good. And maybe it'll open up our light a little quicker. Anyway, so I found a device. I've never seen one before. It's from Harden Kardon. Is that right? Is that the right name? I know that it's a high-end Harman Carter. Somebody help me out in the chat. Anyway, you don't see that sort of stuff. You don't see bows. You don't see that level of stuff typically at Goodwill. You see cheaper stuff. But here was this Harman Kardon dual CD player, and I'm like, okay, it looks cool. It's a good reputable brand name. This would look great inside of my media cabinet. And then I started looking closer at it. And get this, it's not just a dual CD player. It's a CD burner. It's a CD cloner. So you can literally burn CDs. Okay, I can't see when I'm driving here. Harman Kardon. Okay, I was close. Anyway, yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, this does CD dubbing? Holy shit, I have to have this now. But then a little voice went off and said, it's Goodwill. You got to test it before you go. So my son had picked up a couple of CDs. I said, give me one of your discs. He had picked up the Aladdin soundtrack. He loves the classic discs. I said, let me have your disc. I want to test this player. So when I found it out that I plugged it in, and I put the play one, right, the one on the left, and it just sits there spinning and spinning, flashing TOC, and eventually it just said, piss off, disc read error. It's like, well, shit. I put it in the other one, the writing CD. Come on, dudes. I'm trying to get through here. Don't be like that. And the other side played, but the left side didn't. And I didn't really feel like gutting the thing. And it was $40. $40 at Goodwill. Holy crap. But at 50% off, would have been $20. And so I was like, God, $20. Do I want to gut this thing and fix it and try to find out what's wrong with that other? Nope, I just left it. But it's too bad because that would have been a way cool ass device to own. Yeah, anything that does that kind of dubbing or anything like that, especially something of that quality, was great. I bet it needed a belt replacement or something. And there's plenty of room inside those units. You know, it's not like it's a portable device. So, anywho, that was my almost big win. I did get a pretty decent pickup though. So, and I'm going to do a video on this for the Steam Deck folks about how to buy a keyboard, a thrift keyboard for your deck. People don't want to buy anything. People don't want to spend any money on anything. It makes me mental. It's like they would rather use that shitty little virtual tap 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 tap. They would rather use that to type in these long console commands rather than just spending a few bucks on a keyboard. It makes me mental. Makes me mental. So. I'm gonna do a little segment on buying keyboards from Goodwill for your Steam Deck. We'll do that probably later this week. But I'm always on the lookout for keyboards, right? I'm always on the lookout for particular keyboards. And what am I looking for, right? Cheap wired keyboards are a dime a dozen. There's always wireless keyboards with proprietary dongles. It doesn't have the dongle. You never know if it's gonna need drivers of some sort. It's just a complete mess. So I am on the lookout though for a quality Bluetooth keyboard, right? Because occasionally you can find a Bluetooth keyboard. Not often, right? You probably visit 10 Goodwills and not find one. But if you can find one that's in great shape, and I'm always looking for a combo, right? Something like a Logitech, what is it? The K400 that has a touchpad with it. Something like that. I'm always on the lookout for good quality type keyboards. Because you really can never have enough of those. You always end up needing one for something. And I'm always on the lookout for a USB-C plug keyboard, which, by the way, forget about it. I've only seen one in existence, and I had to pay full price at Amazon for that, like 20-something bucks. It's nice to have around for the Steam Deck because then you don't have to have a dock or anything for it. You just plug it into the top. Why are we all stopped? This light's... Come on, you guys. Jeez. I just ran that red light. I'm going to probably get in trouble. Hang on a second. I'm getting too close to work here and the traffic is a nightmare. So anyway, what I ended up finding was the K270 keyboard from Logitech, and I didn't even notice it. All I did was pop open the back and make sure. What are we doing? Come on! Move! What the fuck is wrong with you? Dude. You don't even know where he's going. He may not even be turning here. Good Lord. Bonehead. Anyway, so I think it's like the K270. The thing is like a new keyboard. It goes for $55 new. I mean, you can still buy it. It's not like one of these old ones that you can't find anymore. You can't. It's amazing. It is amazing. And it's in great shape. Keys are great. There's no splooge all over it. The battery compartment's clean. 2 AAAs, and the dongle was included. And it's a unifier. It's a Logitech unifying machine, right? So connection. And I've got plenty of that stuff going on. So very exciting. Sorry, I got to get to my backpack. I should have left earlier. I did leave earlier, but still no love for me. Who's yelling? Crazy people. All right, got my badge. We're good. Yeah, and so I got it home and I started looking at it. Gonna test it out, right? You got to do the whole testing thing. And it turns out not only is it a Logitech unifying, but it's also Bluetooth. So that was a huge win. And it's one of those ones that has like a little slot for a tablet at the top. Yeah, I think it's the K270. Really, really, really nice. That was my big win. It's a $55 keyboard, man. I mean, and I got it for $4.20. $4.20. What a deal. What a bargain. That's a bargain for me. Gentlemen, this is a scary spot to be standing here, man. Lord, what's up with that? All right, well, listen, I'm going to find myself a spot at the park, see if I can get on my meeting. And, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah, the Deuce Burlesque show. The big top weekend deal. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great one. This is Shane R. Monroe, Passenger Seat Radio, saying we'll see you next time. Take care.